Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's it going, Giles?
It's good. It's all hands to the pump as soon as we kick off. We're threatening these lows here, which is just at the bottom of this falling window.
Okay.
So this looks, if we get a break on volume below 5.7 11.50, I'm gonna go with that before the open.
Okay, nice one.
So I'm just gonna sort of just have a little look at this, just give it a minute, and if it goes now, I'll take it, and then we'll do the
Yeah.
rundown as we go, basically. How are you this morning? You okay?
Yeah, all
How's
good.
that feeling?
Fine.
Good, good. That's it. Ready to go again. Put your
That's
helmet
it.
on. Ready to be a linebacker.
We'll see what happens.
Is that with the market or your head?
Well,
Both.
either, either and both today.
I know you, Paul. You're Mr. Stoic. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll
You're
see.
ready for anything, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Just noticing this potential breakout here, the 5.7 11.50 could be a nice light trade just before the US Open. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. Can see a bit of volume building here. Looks very attractive. Had a few negative headlines. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this. 5.7 11.50 is the number. Need to see it break and close underneath. I need to see it on volume.
Looks like we're getting an update from China's regulator on CK Hutchinson. They will review CK Hutchinson's Panama Port related deal in accordance with the law to protect fair competition, as well as safeguard public interests.
Hey Paul, good to see you. Here we go. Let's see if I get a break through this level. Close on volume. I'm going to be entering this with the slightly change to interest rate expectations after the PCE print, plus some negative headlines out of China. So we're right in the swing of it. Haven't got a break yet, so just have to hold on. See on the 5. I'll keep an eye on this. I'll just put it onto another screen and we'll do the rundown. So we've had the PCE print in, and it's pretty much as expected. Powell basically said he was expecting it to be 2.8 for the core for this print for February, and the headline's at 2.5%. So slightly firmer. If you look at pricing, it's just changed from 16% chance of a cut to 14% chance of a cut. So ever so slightly more likely that the Fed's going to hold. And that's just, in keeping with what the Fed said at their last interest rate meeting, with the fact that they saw inflation higher this year for the headline and the core. All of it is based on tariff woes and, hey, Anthony, and concerns that the Liberation Day, which I hope you're looking forward to, Paul, on the 2nd of April.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
Liberation Day. You think that, and well, we're offended as the Brits because I thought your liberation was when you escaped from the Brits, but no, you've got another Liberation Day, right? So here we go. If this breaks on volume, I'm going with this as a breakout. Let's see.
Okay.
Not quite yet. So has the inflation data changed anything? No. Is it a surprise? No. But is it slightly firmer? Yes. And now all of a sudden the market has no longer got the PC to focus on, and all it can think about now is Liberation Day on the 2nd of April. So that means tariffs. China's out straight away saying they will respond with countermeasures if the US insists on harming China's interest regarding the April 2nd tariffs. So who knows exactly what's going to happen? No one exactly knows. So when you're this scared, you tend to sell. So,
Yeah.
We're looking at this big area. And if you look at this S&P 500, we had that gap. And remember we said about the top of the window tends to be the best bit with that gap. Right. Is that not quite underneath? And if you look on the hourly chart, sorry, I just got something caught in my throat. Right. Look on the hourly chart, you see the top of the window, support, resistance, down. So if we can go with this, that's a nice area just to see a collapse through. On volume, sometime after the open, that would be great. Oh, let me put I am alive, I am here. Right, it's just the voice today. No, just forgot to put the camera on. Just breaking down through this area, having a look to the S2 would be really potentially quite nice. Also noticing key area on the NASDAQ being tested, this trend line, broke, resistance, support, potential break, that can become another resistance area. So we're at some pretty important levels today. VIX pushing higher, sentiment negative, China on the buyers, trade war 101, and seeing a bid come into bonds as well. So bonds are fine buyers, which tells you they're worried. Looking at the stock market, we're down across the board. So looking like, sell, sell, sell. And in fact, let's just see here. Here we go. That just go. I'm just going to sell in anticipation of that breaking at some point. So I'm selling that now. Oh, great, charming. What's that?
What was that?
I'm going to sell up in that value area. I don't quite believe this. Let's see what that is.
Update on trade relations from Bloomberg. EU plans concessions for Trump after reciprocal tariffs hit. It says further, the European Union is identifying concessions it's willing to make to Donald Trump's administration to secure the partial removal of the US tariffs that have already started hitting the bloc's exports and that are set to increase after April 2nd.
How good is
EU
that?
officials were told at meetings this week in Washington that there was no way to avoid new auto and so-called reciprocal tariffs that Trump is launched next week. Also noting there that discussions also began on what the contours of a potential deal to reduce them should eventually look like.
Okay, let's just not sure about that. I don't really think that materially changes things. It just shows you the volatility out there. So I'm selling into that. We'll see. I'll keep it on a tight leash. I don't think that changes anything. In that value area, nice area for sellers. So just see if I get a little bit of a move.
Just following that latest headline that the EU plans concessions for Trump after reciprocal tariffs via Bloomberg, I've seen a bit of uptick in US equity space as well as euro dollar.
It's not selling off quickly. Give it a second. Let's have a look. 5-minute trap, those sellers off the first standard deviation. Have a look at the 15.
Just a bit in US news here from Punchbowl News. The joint House Senate budget under consideration construction right now has two sets of spending cut targets, $3 billion for the Senate and roughly $1.5 trillion for the House, setting up a very messy, confusing process for Congress, says Jake Sherman.
Tricky, this one. Right, last with defense for me here is at the VWAP.
Yeah, it's just kind of gyrating around.
Yeah, it's into the open, isn't it? And I don't think this has changed anything. It's conciliatory, which is good. It just shows you the volatility we're going to have around headlines.
Yeah.
Right. I'm out of that. I'm not going to give it any more. I'll do a quick rundown. It's a war and peace day today. It's the best of to the worst of times on March 28th. So the best of times is that my live accounts are all up on the day. So I'm green in the live accounts, which is great. And that was based on a real textbook breakout, which was simply as we took out these lows here on volume, just went with the break. And if you look here on the 1-minute chart, you'll see it really clearly. We just moved, taking out these swing lows. And then when we moved through them, it was here on volume, taking out the lows, rising volume, confirmed. We had a pullback, rejection of that level. And then I was on the micro, so you can't see the trade here, and just took profit as we moved down into that value area low.
Yeah.
I also had a mistake that turned out okay, which is that when I originally pressed close the position, it didn't respond. So I pressed it again to buy, and then I got a buy in as well. So I got 2 bites of the cherry for that.
Worked.
Yeah, nice to have a mistake that works in your favor, right? So I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. But then with the live accounts I was trying to pass, that was the worst of times bit. With the live accounts, just taking a lot of risk trying to pass the accounts. This 20,000 profit target, I was sort of 9,000 off, short and then long, and went long on the headline about the EU willing to do some kind of trade negotiation with Trump, and held it on and taken out as I took out through those buyers there. And once all those buyers were trapped out, and that was the end of that drawdown limit. Then had another account on the 80 just to try to pass a 3,000 count. 1 day pass, so again, taking a lot of risk and trying to get into this sell. And each time I was trying to get to the sell, had a few winning trades, few losing trades, but ultimately, getting caught the wrong way and hit the drawdown limit of 2,500. So the worst of times that the accounts I was trying to pass hit the drawdown limit, but the best of times the live accounts continue to make progress. So there we go.
Doesn't sound too bad. That's the way to do it.
Well,
yeah, try to pass them and then be conservative on the live accounts and try to make some profit. So there we go.
Yeah, Najwa says, was 300k too stressful? I think in one sense it was relaxing because the drawdown limit is large, but the annoying side is that the 20,000 target just felt so big. It just and you just wanted to take more and more stress on it. I think I'd do it again, especially if they did another offer on it. But my concern was that it might set off bad habits of trading too much. That was my only concern with it. But that's it. All right, folks. Hope everyone has a really good weekend, right?
See you next week, Monday.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. See you, Paul.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.